The problems keep mounting for the Democrats right now. And what you're seeing right now is that the more they attack him, the stronger he gets. So someone there in the Manhattan DA's office got a little bit of bad advice. This might have been better to let, how did they say, sleeping dogs lie. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. I am Trish Regan. You know, I keep saying this. We got real problems. We've been talking a lot about the border this week. We also, of course, on this show, talk a lot about the economic picture. The Fed is not committed, that's quite evident, to fighting inflation in the way that needs to happen in order to get this under control. I mean, even Larry Summers, and he's not exactly what you'd call conservative, right? Larry Summers, economist, former president of Harvard University, who was part of the Clinton administration and then part of the Barack Obama administration, Treasury Secretary of the United States of America. He's been pushing the Federal Reserve to do more. We have a problem and no one's committed to getting it under control. So in today's program, we're going to talk about diversification, ways that you might actually be able to protect the value of your dollar in the future. And we're going to do so with Charles Thorngren. He is the CEO of Legacy Precious Metals. That is coming up. But in the meantime, wow, everybody's getting a bailout. Well, I want to give you a little bit of information from one of our wonderful sponsors here at the Trish Regan Show. COVIDtaxrelief.org is the organization. If you pulled your business and through the pandemic and paid your employees, well, the good news is you could actually qualify for up to $26,000 per employee at COVIDtaxrelief.org. Government funds are now available to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. Imagine that. This is not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. The program's a little bit complicated, of course, typical government stuff, but nobody knows more about it than the CPAs and the tax experts at COVIDtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and share a percentage of the cash that they get you. Businesses of all types. This includes nonprofits. It includes churches. All businesses can qualify, including those who took out PPP loans, even if you had an increase in sales. So if you did the tough thing for your employees and the right thing for your employees during COVID, let COVIDtaxrelief.org help you to get up to $26,000 per employee. Just visit COVIDtaxrelief.org today. Again, that's COVIDtaxrelief.org. Let's get straight to the inflation picture. We have with us today none other than the gentleman who told me back in November, Trish, this is going to be as bad as 2008. It's going to be some kind of banking crisis, different, but something major. Well, I guess he got that one right. Charles Thorngren, welcome back to the program. What do you know? Here we are. Charles Thorngren, reading the tea leaves pretty well on that one. Good to have you back.
Oh, it's great to be back. And I apologize for being right. We have to remember, this is very much like 2007, 2008, but worse.
Yeah.
If we have runaway inflation, and unfortunately, and I know I said it in the past, but we still have 2 years to go, folks.
Cost. How much do things cost? No, we're going to whip it.
And the budget plan is insane and it would be a disaster. Fortunately, I don't think it would ever go through, but it gives you some insight into how this administration thinks. I'm troubled by the reality that even regardless of who's there, Charles, we've gotten ourselves so far in the hole that there's no easy solution out right now. It is like massive debt and deficits for decades to come, which is going to do exactly what you just said, erode the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar.
This also goes back to, can we default?
Gosh, I hope not.
You have part of the institution refusing to accept financial responsibility.
Yeah.
So at what point does the other side say, no, we're going to force you to have to accept it? And there's where that conversation of some default comes in. Maybe not all default, but maybe there's certain items they're willing to let go into default. But we can't afford that. The last time we had, a really bad budget battle, the United States got downgraded.
Yep.
Our credit rating got downgraded.
Yep.
We haven't made that up yet. So if we fight, if we have a strong financial fight, which it's needed, do we get downgraded even further?
It's like this, house of cards, which was an analogy I can remember using in 2006.
Yeah,
I remember the network I was working for were like, what are you talking about, Trish? Like the market's sky high. And I'm like, no, it's a house of cards. And they're like, we can't air this. You're so far off the news curve. And I'm like, trust me, it's a house of cards. I tend to see these things long before they actually do happen. But knowing that this is kind of a bit of a scheme, if you would, I think that's why people need to be thoughtful. They need to be careful. They need to diversify. And right. I was looking at gold just yesterday, saying to myself, gee, I wish I had bought a little more back when it was down around 1,600. We're looking at it around 1,900 right now. I mean, we'll see whether it can kind of hold here. I suspect, though, and again, I'm not like a day trader on this stuff, I tend to invest in something like gold personally, and I'm nobody's financial advisor, but personally for the long haul to kind of ride out the volatility and hopefully protect some of the purchasing power of my dollars in the future. But with all that in mind, where do you see it, say, I don't know, over the next 6 months as we confront head on what a lot of people think will become the 2023 banking crisis?
I don't like to prognosticate very often, but I will say, in the next 6 months, if we're not over $2,000 an ounce, I would be shocked.
Wow.
And it's not that hard to move. If you look at where we were just last month, we were at 1813, and here we are at 1905. Mm-hmm. And that's without any big news. As the banking issues is, yes, that's big, but that's not why metals moved. They had moved prior to that. Mm-hmm. We saw, which was not surprising, but very large central bank buying, right?
China too.
Absolutely. And after it moved up, they stopped because they're smart. They're not going to bid against themselves. They're going to let it pull back a little bit, take advantage of the market, add more.
Hey, what do you think of silver right now?
Silver is a screaming opportunity.
Still, because it's moved up a lot.
It's moved up a lot, but it's still so far behind where it should be based on your average ratios between gold and silver. Mm-hmm. We should be much closer to the $50 range, honestly, on silver.
And we're in the 30s now.
So it's one of those things that there's an opportunity there. If you're buying it, either have a place to store it or have a place in your house that has lots of room, but you're going to get a lot of metal for your money. It comes in volume. So that's an important thing.
It's not like gold where you can put, and I learned this from you can put $1 million of gold just in a shoebox. Pretty ounce?
Gold Eagle, half ounce.
All right, I got my eye on that.
Silver Eagles too. Don't forget the silver.
Thank you so much, Charles. Always good to see you. Thanks for your insight.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
My thanks again to Charles. I'm not going to let you go without giving a quick little word here for my good friend Fluffy. You know Fluffy. This is one of the most important people in my life. I say people, we think of our dogs as people, don't we? Because they are so special to us. And this is a little guy who just loves me unconditionally, no matter what. If you don't have a dog, I encourage you to get one. But this is actually not a public service message about dogs per se, as much as it is a message about if you do have a dog, take care of that dog. Feed that dog well. Make sure that your dog has the right vitamins so that they can live a long, healthy, happy life. I give Fluffy every single day Rough Greens. It was created by naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who cares passionately like I do about the health of dogs. And so he's on a mission. And I've teamed up with him. We are trying to make sure every dog is getting the proper nutrients. We've been talking about inflation. Look, Dollar Tree just said that they're not going to sell eggs anymore because eggs are too expensive. They're times three times as much as they were this time last year. I know everything's expensive right now, and many of us are tempted to say maybe go with cheaper products for our pets. But in this particular case, if you're going to do that, just make sure that you're giving your dog that extra something. This is a supplement that you sprinkle right on top of his food. And my dog, Fluffy, loves it. He eats it every single night with his dinner. So check it out. You get a free trial bag, a free jumpstart trial if you sign up at roughgreens.com/Trish. Again, roughgreens.com/Trish. And let me know what you think. I think your dog is going to love it, if Fluffy is any judge. Anyway, we got lots more going on. I'm going to have Dave Rubin on the program to just kind of talk about all these items in the news right now. So he's joining us tomorrow. And remember to go over to my website. We've actually changed it. It's no longer TrishIntel.com. It is now Trish Regan Show. So go over to TrishReganShow.com, sign up for my free newsletter there, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel on YouTube and on Rumble. Make sure you follow me on social media at Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, all those good places. And we'll talk tomorrow.